Using samples is cool, but making your own is something else entirely. Today I'm going to show you how I made this loop. Using only samples I captured and made. Deven back with the Drastic Truth. And today's video is actually kind of special for me. Even though samples are easy, fun, and fulfilling to create, there is still a task to do. You A, have to record sounds you want to use, B, chop them up and edit them, and C, sometimes you have to mix and export them. Now, it's not a secret that this process takes some time, but it doesn't always have to be a chore. You might be someone that makes samples on a regular basis. I think that means you like the process. Let me show you how I recorded, edited, and made the loop that you just heard. The audio from my camera was absolutely atrocious and very troublesome, but nonetheless, I recorded the samples. I used just about anything I could find in my room. Remember when I cleaned it? When making your own samples, it's easy to get carried away, and it's also easy to lose sight of what you want to accomplish. There was a goal in mind here, and that was to create an intro loop for a new song. These samples needed to feel industrial and electrifying, like electricity. So I knew that I needed to make a lot of crackling and noise-based sounds. After the idea for your samples, it's great to just turn a mic on and start making sounds. Capture as many sounds as you can. More is always better, except when you don't want to edit like a million sounds. But the number of choices you'll have might breathe magic. It really depends on your patience. When I recorded these samples, I made just about every single sound possible with the objects. My favorite was using a guitar cable as a rope. Smacking on the ground, moving it around, and twisting it in my hands gave me these electric sounds that I was looking for. This is the project that I created to record all those samples, and obviously I'm showing you the loop here. The samples originally were on one track. There were so many samples, but these are the only ones that I cared about after going through all the ones I made. But here's the sound. I think that was hitting the hitting that amplifier. So I'll listen to it again. All right, and my first thought was I want like a kick drum out of that sound, you know, as I was going through and editing. So I ended up pitching it down 21 steps. I got that, which sounds horrible, honestly. Let's see here. I threw some EQ. Looks like I just did this little dip here, 500. And on the inserts, it looks like I added some pixelation. I just degraded the signal, and you get this super hard, you know. And then I coupled it with this sound, which there's no EQ. What the hell? Okay, well, before I show you the EQ curve, which that's more like a kick drum. That's more like a kick drum that came out of like a Game Boy. And it looks like I grabbed this typical EQ. Look at this curve, though. That's crazy. With it on, now we got a kick drum. That's so funny that I didn't add any top end, though. And then together, they sounded like this. And that's horrible. That sounds like you just clipped the crap out of a terrible kick sample. Obviously, I added some EQ here. A little more bassy. And then I added these EQs as well. There's all that sizzle that's just being taken out completely. And then even more redactive EQ here. So can't believe that's the sample I landed on, but that's the sample. And that isn't all I did for the kick drum, obviously. I am using the Sub Destroyer plugin from JST in order to give like this sub bass note with the kick drum. If you're watching this on a phone, you probably did not hear that, but there is a very dominant sub bass tone, just doo. Yeah. Anyway, that is underneath it, and I guess I'm sorry I said it was all samples. I forgot that's the one thing that is not a sample. But I will highlight the fact that this is a good teaching moment for sample enhancement. You know, you can create a bunch of samples on your own. There's nothing wrong with layering it with another sample that you either didn't make or a virtual instrument, whatever. It's not bad to do that. In fact, you can create some amazing samples by doing that. So that's just one example. Here is my snare drum. A lot going on with this one. Obviously, I have completely shaved off that low end for this snare. The EQ is probably boosting a fundamental frequency for me, like something I really liked. without this EQ. Honestly, you'd never know. But like that. That 1K does stand out. There's a reason I did that. And then I got this compressor without the compressor. Oh, shit. It's me clicking a button. It's just a button click. That's hilarious because I added this compressor here so that I could smooth that transient and bring up the tail so it's just like a... And I just added a reverb. Without the reverb, it's this. Next, I got the hi-hats, which I called hi-hats. I don't even remember what sounds these really are. Take off all this processing, and I'll actually go to the loop here. Sounds like a lot of just like button pushing. I think it was actually this DI box that I have down here you can't see. I got a switch on it for the ground lift, and I believe that's what that clicking is. That sound, that is a metal trash can that has old guitar strings in it. I changed the strings on my Jackson guitar for the song when I was tracking guitar, and grabbed that metal trash can and shook it or hit it, and that's the sound you get. It looks like I added a good old filter here. Actually, there you go. I liked the broad cue of the low pass here, and then added again this pixelator, which I love this. I love this picture, and I'm using my own preset. I think this is exactly what it is. It's the preset here I made. Look, I'm on this. Deven presets, yeah. If you have this plugin, you can use exactly what I'm using right here from JST, this Game Boy Color preset. And it sounds like this. Yeah, pretty sweet. So there's the hi-hats. Now, I didn't use these bass notes. I didn't use them in the final mix of the song. So this is what it sounds like. You can barely hear it. That was me taking a pick and scraping it across the top of the amplifier because it has these little tiny rectangular holes in the top of it. So hard to hear, but I took those and I added this JST fuzz, Demon fuzz pedal. It's like the only fuzz pedal I really have, but I like this one. It's so hard to hear, but still, that's pretty crazy. I did that for both scrapes. That's got like this really mean sound to it. That's being fed into this curve here. I have like a nice little cut to do this. That cut there is probably to make this sound a little more musical. Yeah, that's sort of like aggressive, you know? I want more like a deep bass sound. Yeah, that's deep sounding. Looks like I have it going through a Bogren Digital 1 knob. Yep, just for this distortion. On top of using fuzz pedals, I have a distortion pedal. Well, not a distortion pedal, but an amp sim. And then going into an EQ, I've got this white noise, which is just, it's a can of just air, compressed air that I just kind of was spraying in front of the microphone. Yeah, that's compressed air. And then I coupled that with like a throw, basically. So this right here is noise. Those were those guitar picks again in that little container. I just ran it through an amp sim. Makes it sound like a skull with stuff in it. Next I have this bell sound. Yeah, very metallic. I'm pretty sure that was the DI box hitting it with something. I clipped it to make it loud. I added a metalizer. I don't even know what this is. It's like a type of filter. Not entirely sure what it does, but if you do it just right, it's a really harsh filter sounding distortion thing. And then I added a limiter, probably to get rid of the big old peak it has. Definitely. And then added reverb. And not just any reverb. I added a shimmer reverb. So this JST Skybox here, this is probably my favorite reverb plugin ever, but I put on the shimmer mode. So like the reverb is an octave up. There we are. Next, I've got these perk sounds here, like walkie-talkies. I want to know what they are because I kind of forget. It's reversed, but I'm pretty sure that was the guitar cable being like on my safety mat for the floor and just like whirling it around. There's this interesting plugin I used on it that's called Valve Filter, and I got it from Computer Music. Whomever this is. I hate plugins that don't actually have like the name of the person, but it says Computer Music. Very simple. It's a valve filter. It's pretty badass. I don't know. Pretty much was just playing with it. I don't know what made me want to put it on. I think I just needed like to filter it, and I wanted something simple and easy. Next, I have this record noise, which the record noise isn't actually a record. I could have used a record sound, but I didn't. I wanted to use my samples. So it's this. I know it's panned all the way to the right, but that is the sound of that cable, again, on the ground. So I used it for the walkie-talkie sounds, and I also used it for this record thing, because it sounds like a needle going across a vinyl record. So I filtered that. And that's it. And then next I've got this thing called Signal Rit. So basically it just is a clicking noise that I had slowing down. That's all it is. Then it is being reversed. Without any of these plugins, it sounds like this. I don't really know what that sounds like. It looks like I added this little EQ point here below 1K. So let's turn that on. I would think I wanted to give it like this very toy sounding, like wood block sound. And then I don't know if this is even doing anything, but I added this chorus because I had it. Not really. It's kind of filtering the high end a bit, but whatever. I liked it on there, so I just kept it. Then I'm using JST's Transify to get less attack in these specific frequency ranges. So yeah, dulling the attack out so it's not so harsh on your ears. And then I'm auto panning it. And then all together, with all these samples in and everything, we get this. So that's how that loop was made, with all those samples. The next part of making samples like this is to listen to them and edit as you go along. Listen down the line, and when you hear a sound that inspires you, cut around it, and then keep moving forward. Eventually, you'll have your samples cut up and ready to process. Oh, and congratulations, you're one step closer to becoming a Foley artist. Now, I'm not a wasteful guy. I like to keep all of my samples. Even though I know I'll probably never use most of them, it is okay to do what you like. Overall, there were about 60, 70-ish samples. Never underestimate the tools at your fingertips. And do not stop exploring. As you saw, some of these samples became something completely different. The question is, what kind of samples have you made? Let everybody know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to export and save your samples to use later. You never know when you're gonna refer back to them and want to use them again. I've made samples in the past that definitely came in handy down the line. And in fact, a lot of big name producers do this. They'll create their own samples, like secret weapons, to use against the masses. Basically, it's how they get their signature sound, but still. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. If you're new here, I post videos like this out of passion for the audio making process. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Show a blooper. Literally, I just made the blooper. I just fucking made the blooper out of passion. Oh my God, I had it right. Here, I post videos like this out of the... It's out of the passion for the audio making... Bitch. This out of the passion of the... Out of passion. Fuck me. God damn, this is a hard sentence.